FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, a hearty good morning on this Friday. Combine Friday, I guess we can call it. Hangover Lightning Loss Friday, we can call it. Getting a lot of those lately. Not too happy about that. Amalie Arena. Oh, we got to talk about that last night. Pittsburgh Penguins South. It was as bad as I've ever seen it in Amalie Arena. Oh, my Lord. Steve Dumig and Chris Thomas are rolling over in their graves this morning. All right, welcome into the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Taliano Insurance, the Golden Diamond Source, and American Mortgage Services, and the Valspar Championship. We thank all of our sponsors. We thank you for joining us this morning. And, yes, the Lightning lose 5-4 in overtime. We got Bucks talk. We got Rays talk. We got it all for you today. So sit back and enjoy 2 hours. We'll be getting into all of our local stuff, some big NFL stories at the Combine, and more. I'll say good morning to you, Nick Geddes. How are you?
I'm doing great. I sat down and watched a Rays game yesterday for the first time in, 4 months? 4 or 5 months.
Pitch clock.
I digested the pitch clock.
You did?
Okay.
How'd it feel? How'd it taste?
It's okay. It's okay.
It's an acquired taste.
It's an acquired taste. There was somebody else.
The first time you have an IPA, you're like, whoa.
I'm not ever going to get on board with that. But, no, it's an acquired taste, though. At least it was better than what I saw. I saw a highlight this morning on SportsCenter that somebody struck out somebody yesterday in 20 seconds. 3 pitches, 20 seconds, bye.
Total. Oh, a dream.
No, it looked weird.
Oh,
it was a little too quick for my taste.
I gotta get that.
Still a little too quick for my taste.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, it was a little too quick for my taste.
Are you missing the
I felt
scratching
so bad
and spitting and grabbing?
I felt so bad for the batter, man.
Oh,
he wanted to stand out, and then he had to hurry up and get in there and all this stuff. It didn't happen in the Rays game, though. That didn't happen in the Rays game.
So what?
And I didn't notice the clock as much as I thought I would either.
Yeah,
the digital clock. I'd like to see it somewhere else, though.
Yeah.
But
where?
I want it on the actual, I don't know, it looks a little low budget.
Oh, okay.
How it has a little box with, the old digital number.
Yeah.
Looks a little low budget for me, but then again, I can't ask for, Bally's is struggling right now, so I don't know.
Graphics, expenditures on graphics low on the totem pole right now.
A little bit.
They're trying to make the mortgage payment. So we'll get into all that today as we roll through a couple hours of Tampa Bay-centric sports talk here today. Obviously, you guys can join us, as Lonnie Wilkins is already in the chat on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter as well. You can always hit us up, and we'll get your thoughts and stuff in there. So we will begin this morning with the Bolts loss last night, 5-4 in overtime to the Pittsburgh Penguins. It wasn't as bad as the previous 4 games, I think I could say, even though, of course, the Lightning won in Detroit 3-0, but that was all Vassy. They were drastically outplayed. I thought last night they were better. I thought they were better. Not as many odd man rushes, although they still left Vassy hung out to dry a couple of times. Special teams were good last night. Their penalty kill was a 5 for 5. They scored on a couple power plays, scored right after a power play. I mean, they had almost 2 minutes of 5-on-3. I would have liked to seen them put that biscuit in the basket, but Stamkos scored right after. And they came back from deficits, 3 separate times. So there was a lot of good in their game last night against a very desperate and talented Pittsburgh team. But, at some point you got to get dubs. And they have lost 4 of their last 5 games. They're 2-3-3 in their last 8. And, we've seen this just about every year. We've seen them go through the doldrums of this particular time of the year, and they always seem to come out of it. So I'm not in panic mode. They're working in Tanner Jeannot. But I think the biggest thing right now that is glaring is they still have not settled on 3 D pairs that they like. I mean, Radish got brought up last night. I think that and he was second in the NHL or the AHL in defenseman points. He certainly earned his time. There's no question about it. I think he's been down there 6 years now. Obviously he started the season up with the big club for a few bits, but they're searching. They're still searching for D pairs, and at this point of the year. And not that other teams aren't making changes. I mean, I think Toronto's basically changed out 6 guys in their lineup. That's a lot. But, Boston has done something similar. The Rangers lost last night with Patrick Kane being a -2. So these other teams are going to go through some adjustment as they kind of bring their teams together and try to work these new guys in. And the Lightning are doing that with Tanner Jeannot, but I still think they're a little unsettled on the D pairs. So they've got to play better. There's no question about that. I think they will play better, but I still think that's something they're searching for. And the deadline isn't what, till 4 o'clock today?
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
I think you might see a move.
Yeah, defensive errors, mental lapses in the game, and it's also like quick stretches throughout the game where they completely just shut down.
Yeah.
To me, that's really been their overall problem, and it happened in this game. They were up 1-0, and then Jeff Petrie, who had 3 goals in 44 games this season, scores 2 in 25 seconds. I mean, it was bang bang, just like that, and now you're down 2-1.
Yeah.
Now the Lightning have done a good job, like you said, of continuing to fight back and everything, but it's just the mistakes. I mean, Sergachev makes another really bad mistake last night. Radish, I mean, I'm not going to bang on Radish too much. It's his first game up this season.
Yeah.
But that's a player I've never heard of, though, who kind of got around him and beat it. Let's just be honest. He outbodied him.
Yeah.
He outbodied him. So
And for Vasi to give up that goal in that situation.
I don't think Vasi was sharp last night either.
No.
So those are the things that continue to reoccur. I think they've taken 12 out of 26 possible points since the All-Star break. They're starting to lose ground a little bit on Toronto, and home ice is a big deal, I still think, in the playoffs.
Well, it is the way the Lightning are playing at home and not playing on the road.
Yeah. It is. And I think this is their first 3-game losing streak of the season. This is a team that just doesn't lose 3 in a row, like, ever.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they lost 4 in a row last year early on.
Yeah.
Early on. So that's the last time they've had a streak like this. But that's uncanny. I mean, it really is. In this league, as good as these teams are, to not lose 3 in a row, even before this, is kind of crazy. So, look, this is a great hockey team. And I think right now they're just going through a little bit of struggles. I think you could hear it in some of the guys, and we'll play some of the sound, that they're like, we're getting better. We're getting our confidence back. And I think that's kind of how hockey works sometimes. You kind of lose your edge a little bit for whatever reason. And then and then when you're playing desperate teams and good teams, these mistakes are ending up at the back of the net.
Did you say lose an edge?
Yeah.
Stamkos losing an edge, huh?
Absolutely.
Literally losing edges out there.
Yeah, it happened a lot. And it's kind of apropos for what's going on in a general sense of this team. They're just not playing with that edge that they normally do. And that comes and goes. Yeah. So we hope that, and we've seen this historically, that this team gets it together before the playoffs start. And I'm fully confident they will again, because they still have the core. They still have the championship core. But I think they're searching a little bit and maybe not as confident.
Yeah, and I honestly, I thought last night they played well enough. I think they could have won that game.
Oh, yeah, that's what Coop said.
Yeah, I think they could have won that game. I think offensively they had a good showing. Now, they think maybe they need to be better when they get those power play chances. I think we'll agree on that. Mm-hmm. But they had a lot of chances. And I keep mentioning Kucherov lately. Like, right now the puck's just not going in for that guy.
It's not.
And he's been all over the place. Yeah. It's not for a lack of shooting. It's not for a lack of being in the right situations. It's just not going in for that guy. Yeah. And I could tell he's frustrated.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big difference for this team. When Kuch is scoring goals, obviously he's still the playmaker and one of the elite playmakers in this game, but we need him to score goals too. And he needs to be better at that. And again, so much in hockey does go, it's puck luck, right? A lot of it. And right now he's not getting any. And that'll turn around. That'll regress to the mean because he's creating chances. And I think that's what Coop looks at. How many chances are you creating? How many chances are you really giving up? That's the process. That's what they look at. The outcomes and the scores can be a bit capricious in terms of puck luck and different things that happen in the game. Disallowed goals. We've seen that recently. So, look, I don't see any major structural problems. It's not like they're not fast enough. It's not like they're not big enough. It's not like they don't have the goaltending. They have all of that. It's just not really rolling for them right now like it usually does. So let's dig into the game a little bit last night, and we'll start with the first goal of the game as Tanner Jeannot gets on the scoreboard, finally gets a point. Well, not finally, it was second game. He gets a point. That's good. Get that monkey off your back and give the Lightning an early lead. It goes off of Chris Letang's face and then off of Colton into the goal.
Follows up behind that Ross Colton. Ross Colton steps right circle. Right point, Perbix shoots. That was blocked in front. That hit Letang, stung him. Perbix has it again, right point. Left circle, Sergachev. High slot, Jeannot. Holds, shoots. Score! It was tipped by Ross Colton! Kind of a delayed reaction on the shot. That might have actually been blocked in front initially, then bounced off Colton through the pads of Jari. The Lightning take a 1-0 lead.
Letang is really bent over there.
He blocked that initial shot from Perbix.
He took that one in the
blood.
face.
That hit Colton in the arm.
Hit him right in the head and went in.
It's one of the oddest goals I think I've ever seen scored.
Weird, right?
Right off Letang's nose and in.
Yeah, it got up under his shield, too, I think. He left the game, and I don't think he returned. But Colton gets the goal, his 14th of the year, and Janot gets on the scoreboard, and you like to see him in the mix, right? It was a kid that scored 24 goals and lead all rookies last year. The Lightning, he's just not a throwaway piece. I'm not saying he's in the Gaudreau category, but he can play, and they expect a lot out of him. I think the comp we put on him is more of a Nick Paul, but 24 goals as a rookie is nothing to sneeze about. And obviously he's not been as good this year, but the Lightning see a lot of good stuff in him, and I think we're not going to see it probably for another 10 games to what his impact can really be.
And they even admitted too. Breezeball said it that he's not expecting him to be a 25-goal scorer. He wants somewhere in the middle of where he's at now. And where he was at last year. Because last year, the analytics community, the underlying, will tell you that he had a lot of shooting numbers last year that are probably unsustainable.
Right.
And that's kind of, you've seen that this year, why it's kind of regressed to the means a little bit.
Yep.
And also, who was he playing with in Nashville? It's not a very good hockey team over there.
No, not getting a lot of opportunities
So, I mean,
or playing on a line where there's a lot of creativity to get you open and score.
Yeah, and if you're you said Nick Paul's a comp, and I would agree with you. I mean, Nick Paul, what's he sitting on, 17 goals?
Yeah.
So if he gives you 15 to 20 goals,
Yeah.
you already have
Plus the
plenty of
grit.
star power up front.
Plus the grit, plus the forechecking, and they just, this is what if Cooper is looking for guys that are going to be hard to play against, and I think they got both of that in Tanner Janot and maybe Asamont as well. We'll see what he gives us when he gets here, but I still think that there may be one more move to come. We'll see, and then by 4:00 today. Braden Point scored for the 6th consecutive game. He's got a 6-game goal streak going, and what is that,
38 goals.
38 goals for him on his way to, maybe a 50
I think
goal
he's
season.
getting the 50. I can feel it.
And he's just playing with so much confidence right now. He could have had 2 or 3 more last night. Here's the point goal.
Drops it off Stamkos left circle. Lightning trying to set it up here on the power play. Center point Sergachev. Right circle Kucherov fumbles it. Back for Sergachev. High slot. Shoots. Tipped in front. Score! And the rebound! Braden Point! He has another. That's a career best 6-game goal streak for Braden Point. The Lightning have tied it at 2.
This goal was made by the quick release of Sergachev's shot. He didn't wind up. He didn't try to slap it. He got it and snapped it at the net as fast as he could get it. Kucherov fumbled it, but he gets it back to Sergachev. Sergachev shoots. The rebound's there, and Point puts it in. But
Nice cleanup in front by Braden Point. 38 goals for him now. That tied it at 2 in the second period. Jason Zucker then just about 6 minutes later gets a wrister that beats Vasi. I think that was from kind of the wide angle side. Maybe another one that he would like to have back, and that makes it 3-2 going to the third. And then here they come back again after. I think they listed this as a power play goal, but I think it came just after it expired. Doesn't really matter. It's the shot that matters, and Stammer tied it at 3.
Letang about to come out of the box, and then Petrie will be right behind him. Kucherov across the blue line, left circle, Stamkos, one penalty up. Now the other one is up. Stamkos, score! Shoot the circle!
puck.
Well, that'll go down as an even strength goal, but basically it was almost like a 5-on-3. So I don't know what that means for your rule, Phil.
Stamkos takes the puck in. He gets to the face-off dot to the right of Jari, and he just drills it. I mean, he didn't look to pass or anything else. He just shot it. And it went right by Jari's left arm into the net.
I was actually listening to a replay of the game on the way in on the Strike 102.5 HD. But plenty of great programming on there. We hopefully will be on there soon. And I was listening to them call the game, and I think I heard Phil say frickin' or something else a couple times last night.
Phil's fired up. He wants to see this team shoot the puck.
He does. And he's so right, though. I mean, my goodness, it's the 5-on-3 especially.
Well, that's why the Lightning right now have been struggling. They're trying to fit passes that just aren't there.
And Kucherov, I mean, again, he is playing, and the setups are amazing, but some of the passes that he's trying to make on that 5-on-3, they made some just head-scratching passes. Like, you're not getting that through.
Just
like,
overthinking
what are you doing?
it. 5-on-3.
Yeah, 5-on-3. You don't try to pass through the middle. You know, they're bunched in. You just pass through the outside till you get. I mean, I'm telling these guys how to play hockey. They know how to play hockey. But even Phil Esposito's sitting there yelling and screaming like, "What are we doing here?" It seems a little bit too much. Like, keep it simple, fire the puck, and let's go.
Yeah, and this is why, to me, Braden Point has made himself the most important player on this team right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I challenge you. Other than McDavid, is there anybody else playing better than him right now?
No.
Right now?
I don't think so. No.
Don't think so.
McDavid is just in another world
Yeah,
at this point.
we just separate him.
Yeah. But yeah, and every time he gets the puck, he's dangerous. He's dangerous. And I think he's actually really looking at some of these elite players. But I had a chance to sit down and ask him because he's just starting to play that way. Like, it's almost like I know that I can do what Connor McDavid is doing. Maybe not to that level, but I think he feels that. And it's like, why am I like ever being passive? Just get the freaking puck and you skate better than just about anybody on the ice.
Yeah.
You're faster, your change of direction, your change of speed, your skill level. You know, stop being so damn nice and just take the damn game over. You can do it.
Yeah.
I think, as I recall, there was a time, and it kind of happened in the Calgary series of the or maybe a little bit earlier than that, where, you know, the same thing happened with Vinny Lecavalier, where he finally just realized that he needs to just be selfish and take over games and do the things that he can do and stop deferring to everybody else. And that's the way you become the elite hockey player. And I think Braden Point has kind of reached that point where he knows, you know what, even though I have Stamkos and Kucherov and Hedman and Fassi and all these great guys, I'm the best player on this team. Maybe Fassi, but he is. For what and you look at the total package, and I think we need him to be this guy. 6 games in a row where he scored a goal.
Yeah, they're almost like over reliant on him, I think, at the moment. He's the only guy that I can count on every single game to give you production. The only guy right now.
Yeah, I agree. So O'Connor gets the goal, 6:59 in the third to go back up 4-3 for Pittsburgh, and then Victor Hedman comes back with about 4 minutes left in the game with a wrister of his own from Stamkos, and guess who? Braden Point starting this whole thing.
Hedman knocks it down, right wing Nick Perbix. Short feed Braden Point up the middle at center. Across the Pittsburgh line, leaves for
See how they
Stamkos center
back
point.
up.
Makes a little move for Hedman, high slot. Hedman shoots, score! Hedman! You know what, Phil? I think Jari felt he was going to pass that. He was late reacting to the shot, right through the wickets of Jari. It's 4-4.
Exactly right, David. He thought he was going to pass that.
Great move by
and
Stamkos.
Victor sort of like, the puck bounced or something, and he hesitated just a little bit, and then he just turned around and snapped it.
Yeah, and the whole start of that play is just exactly what we were talking about. Braden Point's coming up the ice, and I think you had 3 Penguins. Instead of challenging him at the blue line, they're all backing up into the zone. And he drops it for Stamkos, who makes a really great move.
Yeah.
And it gets it, kind of toe drags it, gets it to Hedman, who, shoots.
And Jari, he was hot after that one because he was looking at his player. He's like, damn, guys, I got to see the freaking puck.
Yeah.
You got 4 of you that back. You see the play there when they showed
Get
it
out
from
of my way.
when you showed it from what he was seeing. You got 4 guys who all kind of are moving right.
Yeah.
And they're backing up, and Jari's just like this. And I mean, literally, he had zero idea that puck had left Hedman's stick.
Yeah. And somebody's right on the doorstep there. I couldn't see.
It was Kucherov who was right there as an option for the pass as well.
Yeah, and I think Jari was looking at him and thinking, okay, this is where the puck's coming, and then shoot the damn puck, shoot the puck.
That's what I'm saying. They got rewarded last night when they shot the puck.
They did, and hopefully they're looking at that on tape, going, So that made it 4-4. We go into overtime. Lightning had a couple of chances, but then Jason Zucker ends it at 2:13 into overtime with one hell of a wrist shot, top shelf, just under the crossbar in the corner.
Peterson being tracked by Stamkos. The defenseman cuts back, cuts in. Here's Zucker, scores.
What a shot. Listen to that crowd.
Jason Zucker wins it for the Penguins, and they take it 5-4.
It was the dad's trip, as Brian Bradley told us yesterday, so all the cutaways of the dads partying up in the suite. That was, I don't know. I was like, are we going to keep showing this, Bally? He's just kind of rubbing it in a little bit. But I'm going to tell you, and I don't, I don't like to belabor this point, but last night was even worse than normal. The amount of Pittsburgh fans in that building last night. And the other part about it that was really weird is there were a lot of empty seats. Now, these seats are sold. Like, the Lightning, people aren't coming to the games, and they're sold tickets. Like, it's a little weird. I don't know if they're just like, I don't want to go tonight because there's going to be a lot of Pittsburgh fans, and we might lose, so I don't want to deal with that. Oof, that's not good fandom.
I don't know.
I don't want to bang.
Fatigue, maybe. I think we talked about this. It's
We're spoiled.
It's a lot of money and a lot of games over the last 4 years or so.
Yeah, and as far as selling your tickets to Pittsburgh fans, I talked to a guy last night that flew in from Iowa to come to this game. I mean, who doesn't want to escape Iowa in March and February to come to Tampa? I mean, I get it. And for Lightning fans, they know, money is due soon for these playoff tickets. And if you can sell a couple of tickets for $500, $800 to some Pittsburgh fans so you can buy Lightning tickets in the playoffs, I get it. I mean, times are tough. Inflation is real. And so I don't want to bang on the fans. I really don't, because our fans have been amazing. I mean, that game was sold out last night. Even with all the empty seats, it's sold out. But it was, I mean, I would have to say 65% Pittsburgh fans last night.
I could hear it on the TV last night.
They were louder than when the Lightning scored. There was a definite. It wasn't as loud as when Pittsburgh scored.
Oh yeah,
which is just
I've been in the building, like I said, last year twice against Pittsburgh. I've been in the building with Boston. I've been in the building with Montreal, Detroit, all these teams that travel well. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh, for my money, has been the most hostile environment I've been a part of.
Yeah,
and I think that was true last night as well.
Yeah, it was. And I heard a lot of Lightning fans complaining about it. A lot of other people connected with the Lightning were not happy about it. But I think we all just kind of recognize that it's a lot. And when you're going deep into the playoffs, we're talking about $8,000 to $10,000 investment for all of those tickets.
Hey, and let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. We don't blame the Lightning because I think it's worth it, but to go to a regular season game against a team like Pittsburgh where the ticket prices are going to be higher, I mean, I looked at it. It's like $70
for an upper level. And
that's
wait
like the
till
cheapest
next week
thing.
And get one for $25.
Yeah, because it fluctuates. So I understand it.
Yeah.
I do.
That's why I hesitate to bang on this. How can you bang on this fan base? I mean, my God, it's these other teams have not been. It's special to go to the playoffs, and it's special to go. I mean, Toronto fans have plenty of playoff money left. Trust me. But Lightning fans, it's been. I mean, you talk about if you're a Lightning season ticket holder. Okay, in the last 5 years, just playoff tickets alone, probably $70,000 to $100,000 in just playoff tickets. Not to mention your regular season tickets. It's a lot of money. I get it. And so I think a lot of fans, when they see these opportunities, especially late in the year, when these playoff prices are going to come due.
Oh, yeah.
I get it. I totally get it. So I think it sucks. We don't like it, but it's kind of one of those things where there's not much you can do about it.
No.
You thank the fans for the money that they do spend, and when they do come, and they're amazing, and they'll be here for the playoffs, and it'll be 95% Lightning fans in the playoffs. I have no problem with that. So you just got to kind of eat it a little bit. What I was hoping for, and I think a lot of Lightning fans, I was down there on the Bally set above 128, and in the overtime, just waiting for the Lightning to steal this game. And just wave to all the Pittsburgh fans on the way out. I mean, that happens most of the time, right? That's usually what happens with all these other fan bases, but not last night. And when they got the game winner, I looked in that lower bowl. Oh, it was a lot of black and yellow. It was a lot
Terrible
of black
towels
and yellow.
everywhere
Oh
too.
my God!
Yeah.
It was the lower level was about maybe 75% Pittsburgh fans. That's bad. But like I said, I'm not going to get too bent about it. It is what it is, and I'm more concerned about how the Lightning are playing. So let's listen into John Cooper and get his take on last night's 5-4 overtime loss to the Pens. It wasn't even Sidney Crosby that did the men. I was
going to say one combined point last night, by the way, for Crosby and Malkin.
And that's good. I mean, that's a great defense, and that's paying attention to the guys. Because that's a problem the Lightning have had, letting guys like Tage Thompson, who you know are going to be the guys, be the guys.
Period. The team played about as cohesive as we've seen in the last week. And I also thought that was what led to the 3 tying goals. Is that what it's going to take, maybe stretching that out a little more throughout the game for you guys to get back on the winning track?
I'm not sure I followed the whole question, but I will try and sum it up. We played well enough to win the game. It's a game of mistakes, and every team makes mistakes. The ones we made tonight all ended up in the back of the net, and they were some poor decisions. It happens in games. Many a time it doesn't end up in the back of the net tonight, and it seems like of late they all are. Are we getting better? Did I like a lot of our game tonight? Way more than I have in the last couple games. It's been night and day. So positive signs. Do I like the fact that we fell behind 4-3 late in the game? No. Do I love the fact that we had swag enough to come back and tie it? I do. So there's sometimes you play off decent and you lose some games, but I'm not saying we deserve to win tonight. Like, we just made too many big mistakes. But again, trending in the right direction, I think, and if we just keep taking steps forward here, we'll be all right.
Coach, what did you think about your third line, especially in the first period? Their forechecking, their ability to...
Yeah, it was tough because I thought they were playing great, but then I don't know how many power plays were tonight, but it felt like it was a special teams the entire night. So when that happens, guys don't get on the ice as much, and so it was one of those games where special teams was a huge factor. It went our way because we had a couple power play goals, but in the time that they got to play, it was great. And when they're chipping in for goals, it's gravy for us.
We talk a lot about those 5-on-3s if you don't score on them, especially when they're long, but you get a goal right after that, kind of alleviates some of that.
Well, we need to score there, and it pretty much counts because Cooch makes a great play, doesn't give up on it, skated in, and we had the time and space because of the numbers, and we shoot in the net. So doesn't matter when you score it, just got to score it, and we did, and so probably why we got a point out of this.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to rely on those power plays. You want to be just as good 5-on-5, and I think the Lightning were, but we also got to keep in mind that was a Pittsburgh team that was desperate, but not a great Pittsburgh team. Let's also keep that in mind. So here comes Buffalo tomorrow at 12:30 on the road, a team that you just let Tage Thompson score 3, as we mentioned, and beat you last week. So now you got to go up there and an afternoon game. That's a challenge, right?
Don't like it.
Then you got to come back the next day against a Carolina team that plays a completely different style. So it's a contrast in styles that you have to get ready for in a back-to-back situation. Blah, 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 wham, wham, wham. Nobody cares, right? Just go out and win the freaking games. Everybody's got to go through it. But that's a challenging road trip. And all these teams are just waiting for the Lightning. It's payback time for the Lightning. They're trying to get into the playoffs. The Lightning know exactly where they are. They're losing a little ground, but but it starts to become a little bit of an issue. Okay, I want 2 points out of this road trip. And Carolina, by the way, is playing fantastic hockey. And they're not one of these teams that are going out and trying to match everybody's big moves. Why? Because they're tight. Yeah. They are tight, and they're hard to play against. They know what they're doing. They are mission forward and zeroed in, and that's a game I really want to watch, start to finish to see how the Lightning play that game, because they're going to be playing a wide-open game against Buffalo, where Buffalo will try to lure them in again to what they did last time, this, going back and forth, not what Coop wants. And then the next day you got to come back and play a very tight-checking, physical, and you got to get on that plane and get in. I mean, you know what you're in for when you go to Carolina.
Yeah.
So this is a very challenging road trip, and I'm a little concerned that they may not take any points, and we'll see. And if they can take 4 points, I'll be like, we'll be here on Monday going, yeah, see that? See what nobody bounces back like the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, Elliott obviously is going to play one of these games. I'm guessing it's going to be Sunday against Buffalo. Saturday against Buffalo.
Yeah.
We'll see. But
you know how Vassie feels about when he has a bad game.
Right. He wants to
get
back
in
at,
there.
Yeah. This wasn't the Buffalo game of last week.
No.
But I think there were a couple of goals last night that he would rather have back. So will he be out there Saturday? I think with the juxtaposition of the early game, I think you got to go Elliott and give Vassie another day to rest. Plus, you're playing against the better team.
Yeah, I want to see Vassie against the really good team.
It's Carolina
that you could maybe see in the playoffs. I'd rather see him against that
could
team.
Be Eastern Conference Final.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Also, too, we said deadline 4. The Lightning just announced that Radish is back to Syracuse. So they officially have $1.27 million to play with ahead of the 3 o'clock deadline today. And we know that if there's $1.27 million laying in that salary cap, it's going to be used. We think we know that by now.
Yeah. Breezeball is working the phones, maybe trying to make a 3-way deal or something. And I would think maybe it's to get a defenseman at this point.
It's got to be.
Yeah. And Luke Shen, I know, is a guy that they wanted to get, but that's not happening now. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe something will happen during this broadcast, so we will keep you abreast of that. Hey, want to remind you guys that the Jeeves Law Group is out there for you for any of your needs. If you're having employment issues at work, you need to talk to an attorney. It's a free consultation, class action lawsuits, all kinds of things. If it's anything to do with the legal process, the Jeeves Law Group is there and waiting for you. Very aggressive attorneys led by Scott Jeeves, who is an absolute barracuda when it comes to representing you and your interests. So if you've been involved in an accident, if you have had your car totaled and you don't think you got the settlement you deserve, that's something they specialize in. They could probably get you some money, even though it's already happened. So give them a call. Find out if you have a case. Just go to JeevesLawGroup.com and contact them through the website. All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Rays baseball. Stu Sternberg was on with the boys yesterday, talked a little bit about the stadium situation. And Zach Eflin, the highest paid free agent in Rays history, had a really nice debut. So we'll talk some Rays when we come back. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JeeVes lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes, so call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry supercenter with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and Gold, Florida State. Get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns this March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of golf action plus a host of fun activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. Sam Burns, who won in a thrilling playoff last year, is looking to make it 3 wins in a row on the Copperhead course at Innisbrook Resort. He will be challenged by a top field that includes Jordan Spieth, returning for the first time in 5 years. The 2015 Valspar champ counts 13 PGA Tour victories, including 3 majors in his career. It will be a great field and great fun. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance, because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right, your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah, so call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by, in part, the Valspar Championship coming up in a couple of weeks. Festivities will start on the Monday. Actually, I think it's Sunday. They have the run, the 5K run that Rondé and Tiki are going to be leading the way. Then they have the Pro-Am on Monday with a bunch of great celebrities, not open to the public, sorry. And then, of course, all the festivities get started, and Justin Thomas is going to be there, Jordan Spieth, Sam Burns, a lot of big names. So go get your tickets at ValsparChampionship.com. Get some premium tickets at the Rooftop, which is hospitality. Colton Ost of CBS Sports going to be up there hosting. They're going to have DJs and celebrities at that place. And then the Snake Pit is also a place where you get multiple hospitality tents, the Hooters Owl's Nest, all great places. And, of course, Saturday's ticket, you get the Darius Rucker concert as well. So get those. They'll sell out. ValsparChampionship.com.
And because I'm still a kid, by the way, I'm going to the merch stand.
At Valspar?
At Valspar.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I'm going to be. It's not even a stand. It's like that big tent.
It's a big
where
tent.
you walk in, and it's like just galore. I've already looked at, they have all the stuff. They sell it on Fanatics right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to give Fanatics any more money than I already have this week.
That was bad. Bad choice.
Which was a bad choice, by the way.
This is a Walmart hat, by the way.
This right here is
$10.
this is a Kohl's hat right here.
$10.
Kohl's hat, $15.
There you go. And you spent $56 on a Fanatics Rays hat. Wow.
It's not a Fanatics.
So disappointed in you.
It's new era. It's official.
What's that?
It's official.
Oh, that makes a difference. Listen, Stu's music to Stu's ears. Oh, he paid $56 for a hat. We make those for 75 cents in China.
Touche.
Sucker. There's one born every minute. You look around the room and you can't identify the sucker. It's you. All right, so what did we learn yesterday about Zach Eflin? Faced 4 batters, 3 strikeouts, devastating sinker with the lights down low at Tropicana Field. These hitters got no chance against Zach Eflin. He's going to be really, really pleased with what he's gonna be able to do with a defense behind him that is so much better than what he had in Philadelphia. He's got to be tickled to death. And Lord, please stay healthy, Zach Eflin. Stay healthy.
Yeah, because especially with Glasnow's injury, his value right now is even more than it already is with the contract. But you can't ask for much better than what you got from him yesterday.
Yeah.
You really can't. That's as good as an outing as you could have to start spring training. He made it through it healthy, 3 strikeouts and 4 batters. I mean, he looks the part already.
He sure does. I mean, and you know that the Rays are going to get the most out of him. He's going to be. I don't want to put him in the Charlie Morton category just yet.
No, but
Morton was special, especially.
I feel like we just bang on the contract because it's funny. It's just funny that he's the highest paid Ray of all time or whatever you want to call it. It's just
free agent signing,
it's just funny because he was in
total dollars.
Because he was the definition of like a role player with Philadelphia.
Yeah, he's the number 3.
At best. At best. So that's why it was just a little funny, but no, I know the Rays are he's gonna end up being worth it as a Ray.
Yeah, of course.
I have no doubt about that.
It's not that much money. I mean,
no.
Come on.
And honestly, if he's taking Kluber's spot, which we didn't even mention, he's basically replacing Corey Kluber.
Right.
I think at this point he's a massive upgrade over Corey Kluber.
Kluber was, he had his moments. He was really good at times, but he
faded out at the end of the year.
He was the quintessential one really good start, one middling start, one bad start, just a constant rotation.
Yeah. He's older now. He's had a lot of injuries. I thought the end of the year he started to show it.
Oh yeah, he was definitely blasted.
And he was completely fatigued.
McClanahan, as were a lot of guys. Yeah. But that team just limped to the finish line in the worst way.
The good thing about Eflin, obviously, he's in the middle of his prime, and because he hasn't been a full-time starter for the last few seasons, you like to think that there's a bit more mileage there in his arm.
Yeah, and the crowd that showed up to see our prize free agent was spilling out of the top. 2,500 fans for their spring opener. Wow.
Can we
let's build another stadium right there. That's a great location. Let's put it indoors. Yeah, I'm so excited.
It's spring training. It is spring training.
Spend $1 billion in a failed location. This is such a great idea.
Spring training.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before we get to Stu on his stadium scheme, let's get. By the way, I'm going to lay something out for you here in just a second. Vis-a-vis, we're gonna bear it down to the bones of what's going on right here in just a second. But first, let's hear from Zach talk about his devastating sinker ball.
Zach Eflin and Zach, 1 1/3, 3 strikeouts. How'd you feel out there?
Felt good. Felt pretty much in control. Could have done better in first pitch strikes, but felt great with Pinto behind the dish. And we had a good game plan going in, and just comfortable and ready to go.
Speaking of comfortable, are you feeling pretty comfortable with your transition to the Rays, your new team? I know you said it was the first time in a long time you'd put on a new uniform. How you feeling at this point?
I feel good. Everybody's been awesome. They've been super accepting and welcoming. It's just a great group of guys to play with. Played with a lot of guys that have come through the organization with the Phillies, and they've had such good things to say about everybody here, staff, players, everybody. So it feels right. I'm happy to be here. It's 2 hours away from home, and just super thrilled.
This dugout's pretty excited right now at Harold Ramirez getting a base hit there. But when you look at this group of guys that you've got, specifically the starting rotation, what excites you about that? I mean, one of the best in the majors. Shane McClanahan, Jeffrey Springs, Tyler Glasnow when he returns, yourself and Jeffrey, and Drew Rasmussen.
Yeah, it's an amazing staff to work with, and especially learn from. These guys have I've worked so long with Snyder, and I'm really just trying to pick everybody's brain and see, anything that can help me. But it's going to be so much fun to work together and learn from each other and try and outdo each other and be competitive. So it's going to be an awesome staff to.
Why the Rays? Why was this such a good choice for you?
Me and my wife wanted to feel, we wanted to feel wanted. We wanted an organization that wanted to have me. And Tampa came out early and hot and respected our privacy and gave us time to kind of operate through free agency, and they were there the entire time. They made a nice road trip over to our house. A lot of the staff in front office, and from day one meeting those guys, they're just my kind of people, and that's where ultimately we wanted our family to be.
Does this group excite you? I mean, you're seeing the offense produce here late in the game. I mean, does it excite you to see this group of guys that's driven to make the fifth straight postseason?
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a young team, and they're all so hungry, which is awesome to be part of. You walk in every single day, and everybody's a competitor. Everybody's trying to get better, and that's another reason why I wanted to come here. I wanted to get better. I wanted to learn from Snide. I wanted to be around this atmosphere and guys who are hungry, so it's all working out.
Indeed it is. He is set up to have a great year, and this is going to be a great signing at that money. I mean, absolutely fantastic. So we're all in on Zach Eflin. All right, so Stu Sternberg, and that's courtesy of Bally Sports. We appreciate that. Stu Sternberg joined Dwayne Statz in the booth, and they talked a little bit about the stadium and some other things. So let's listen into the principal owner, Mr. Stu Sternberg.
Touch on that for a moment. Where it is, what do you think right now? As Mejia fouls one away, strike one.
Well, right now we're going forward with St. Petersburg and Pinellas County. We've got a plan in place there. We were chosen through an RFP by the mayor and his office. So we're exploring that right now.
There's a base hit for Mejia. Ramirez will turn second and head to third.
There we go.
So the Rays being aggressive, first and third on the Mejia base hit, sending Ramirez over there.
Yet on the base runner. So.
You show up and they start swinging the bats and making good contact.
So
we're in discussions with them. We know we've got to throw a first pitch somewhere in 2028, and right now we're focused on St. Petersburg and Pinellas County. And right where we are right now in the land right outside here where the parking lots are. We actually had Populous in yesterday, and we've been refining some of the design for a new stadium. And at the same time, we've been working and speaking with consistently the people on the Hillsborough side because we're doing everything that we can to make certain that the team stays in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
After we did everything we can to take it to Montreal and told us this wasn't a Major League Baseball market. Okay. He said consistently talking with the people in Tampa. Look, folks, and you also said, first pitch, April 2028, all right? So, in general, 3 years it took for the Braves to build their stadium. I think it was the same in Texas. So, when does this deal really need to be done? Probably by the end of 2023. Okay, so this year you might maybe be able to extend it a little into 24, but not more than that. So, we're finally getting down to the deadline. And, for this whole idea, and I don't think this has been said out loud enough. This is a multi-billion-dollar trop redevelopment. I mean, we're talking about maybe $3 billion in redevelopment of that whole thing. And the mayor has chosen an organization, the Rays, and Hines Development, who can't even commit to the major anchor of the redevelopment, the stadium. I for the life of me, I don't know how you as a mayor and a group can rely on a company or an organization like this that can't even give you a yes or a no on having a stadium there. You're going to start going through with this development. I mean, everything is dependent upon that piece of property and what you're doing. And they can't even commit to that, the major part of it. Why is that? Because they know damn well they have no interest in building a stadium on that site unless it's completely given to them for free. And if the city of St. Petersburg spends $1.2 billion and just gifts a stadium in a failed location, I can't think of anything dumber than that, to be quite honest, except maybe what they did in Miami. But it's been done. Politicians are known to do stupid things because they perceive that they'll be in some way politically damaged by, quote, losing the Rays. I would say, you could look at the politicians in Cobb County. The media in Atlanta went after them so aggressively about this horrible deal they did with the Braves. Now they're printing money in Cobb County. They can't keep enough the money that they're getting into their schools, and how that's pumped money into Cobb County's coffers it's been the best deal that they've ever done. And if Mayor Welch wants to have some longevity as a politician, I suggest you don't gift $1.2 billion to a billionaire to build a failed stadium and ruin the unbelievable opportunity you have to do something transformative for your city. And it's not build a baseball stadium that nobody's going to show up to. See Miami. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So, yes, of course the Rays are talking to Hillsborough County because they're still trying to get money out of Hillsborough County. And this is where, if we can be candid here, Hillsborough County has not knocked their socks off with the deal. I get it. But that's not going to happen. As Ken Hagan has said many, many times, we want them. We want to do this. It's the right place for them. Everybody knows it. Major League Baseball knows it. Everybody, any developer worth his salt knows it. You got to put it in a place that's more accessible to the majority of the people and where the growth is. This is a no-brainer. So Stu knows where he needs it. He's verbalized it. They've all verbalized it. MLB has verbalized it. It's all a dog and pony show to get the most money out of St. Petersburg and his redevelopment cut that he's going to get there, and to get the most money out of Hillsborough. And Hillsborough is not coming to the table with some knock-your-socks-off deal. They're going to give you a fair deal and a get-it-done deal, and something that everybody can be proud of and that will work going forward. But they're not going to come gift you, $1 billion in tax money to build your stadium. And I think Stu feels like the longer he waits, the more money he gets. And it's not bargaining in good faith. He's never done that. And we wish that he would just step up and do the right thing, pay for half the stadium, work hand in glove with the people of Hillsborough to get a fair deal done for everybody. So the Rays can have more revenue to be competitive with the Yankees and everybody else that's spending big money, and also conserve the constituents of both St. Petersburg and Tampa and the surrounding 7 counties, to do something that's a great regional solution. And again. So he can posture all he wants about St. Petersburg. He knows damn well that ain't where this park's going to be. And I feel sorry for Mayor Welch for being conned into this gig again, just like the rest of the mayors were. And Sternberg knows he holds a lot of these trump cards, and he uses them ruthlessly in these negotiations. And he should be better, and we would be in a better situation. So I still think that's where this thing is headed, and it'll get done probably at the end of this year, hopefully. And Hillsborough, they need to come up with a better, more comprehensive plan and make sure that there's something on the table that's doable for everybody. And I think they're working towards that. So we'll see.
I sure hope so, because, again, you're more in the middle of a lot of this stuff than I am. I'm on the outside, really, just kind of observing. And it just feels like Hillsborough is not forthcoming enough.
Yeah.
It feels like Mayor Castor has not been vocal enough.
She hasn't. She could be way more.
I think that's a fair criticism.
But she's not. Again, this idea that she's integral to this is wrong. It's Hillsborough County holds the purse strings, not the city of Tampa. Now, the city of Tampa can certainly be more proactive and put some money in. As Joe Citro told me, the chairman of the city council, they can do some bonding that is not property tax money. They have some wiggle room there, and some discretionary income that they could, for the next 30 years, that they could put toward this. They would be a significant amount. But that's not necessarily a funding source that's absolutely needed, but it would certainly help the process. And no, Mayor Castor has not really stepped up in that way. And I think she should. And
Yeah, it's like it needs to be more like, and again, I'm appreciative, and whoever, if it was the city of Tampa who decided to do it, if it was the Rays, collaborative, the fact that we see more branding, we see more marketing of the Rays. Remember last year when they had that little raised area downtown, and when she's there and they unveiled the banners on the courthouse, like, it's all great. I love seeing all that stuff. But there needs to be more of a vocalized thing, whether it's from her, whether it's from whoever is in front of this from Hillsborough County. I feel like Tampa needs to put that message out there more.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's a a large amount of fans who feel that way, but sometimes I just don't get the sense that from the city of Tampa and from Hillsborough County. At least it makes me question it. And if I'm questioning it, I think the Rays are questioning it.
I think because Stu wants way more than he's entitled to. And they've said, look, we're not doing that. We're not paying for the whole thing or 90% of it. You got to be a partner in this. And
talking about Stu.
Yeah. And they're not. He's been so far. They talk and they talk and they talk. But Stu,
well, now
have you ever negotiated with someone that just has ridiculous demands and will not be reasonable?
Well, now it
you
seems
haven't been
like
through a divorce.
No.
But if you or in business negotiations and you're just like, dude, look, we both want to get a deal done, but we're not doing that. Come on, man. We both want to get, but you got to at least get in the game and give me something to work with. And Stu hasn't done that.
He's
just
now
like,
it
gimme,
seems
gimme,
like,
gimme,
though,
gimme, gimme, and we're going to hold our cards here until you tell me how much money you can give us. It's not the way it works.
But from their side now, it seems like, again, and this is based on what they're doing with St. Pete, and Brian Auld is starting to put that out there, and of course that's Stu's messaging, that they're willing to put a lot more money now than they previously were.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the public stance.
That's the public stance.
Yeah.
My argument's always going to be, well, 5 years ago, you could have just put up even less money, and it would have been.
We'd be there now.
But it is what it is. But because there's a true deadline now, I think you're starting to see the Rays change their stance a little bit.
Yeah, and they're moving towards that, and they understand that they have to spend more money than the $150 million that he's talked about. So yeah, it's eminently doable. It's not as hard as we've made it, but that's all Stu's fault, in my opinion. So hopefully we'll move closer to this. It's just a matter of time. We can kvetch and bitch and moan. It's going to get done. They're not leaving Tampa Bay. There's too much money at stake here.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah. They're not
at the end of the day,
Tampa
that's
Bay.
a great thing.
Yeah. All right. So what else did we want to get to? Neander. Do we have that sound?
Yeah, I'll cue that up here.
All right. So, before we leave the Rays here in this hour, wanted to get to a little bit more baseball talk. This is from Bally Sports, courtesy of them on their Twitter with Eric Neander, talking with the smooth Dwayne Stats.
The best in the biz.
Eric Neander, president of Baseball Ops, has joined us. Eric, good to see you. You walked in here, and I thought maybe you'd been working out, but you're everywhere, aren't you? With the camp split all over the place.
It's an adjustment coming back. Going to need a few days, but got outside hugging Stengel this morning. Nice to stay outdoors a little bit and adjust to indoor spring training baseball here.
Here's Harold Ramirez with a base hit into left center field, and that gives him 2 for 2. Well, one of the things that I was going to ask you, thinking about our first telecast, really knowing that somewhere along the line, very quickly, we'd have you on. And I was going to ask you about the left-handed hitter in the lineup. The early returns, we might have the guy we're looking for.
Well, we'll see. Brandon being healthy, Wander being healthy, that should help a lot. We've got some good right-handed hitters, obviously, that have proven to be regular guys. But the Luke Raley, Aranda, Josh Lowe, if they all step forward, we'll be in really good hands. If one of them does, I think we'll be okay. But it would have been nice to have another veteran in the mix, but those are 3 players that are capable of taking that next step, and they're going to have some opportunity to do it.
Yeah, it must be a position you're in and putting a team together, trying to evaluate what's here and now and what the potential is, and not trying to get out in front of that, but not doubting it either, because there's a reason you see the potential there.
It's a very
little liner there off the bat of Mejia, so he is out number 1.
It's a fine line between being disciplined and stubborn, in those decisions.
Yep.
But we like the players we have. We're always going to be dependent on players taking that next step in their career and performing above their results from the recent past. And that's never going to change, but you want to strike that right balance. And last year, I think it's fair to say we asked too much, largely by injuries, but we asked too much of too many young players, and they should be better for it this year, but it was tough on them last year.
Yeah, well, and the other side of that is that you never know. The one thing you don't have control over is injury.
Yeah.
And if you get a couple young players, especially, you're thinking, well, they're young and strong and maybe not as susceptible to injury as a veteran guy might be. And so it's just something that's as frustrating as it is out of one's control. That's a great stop by Lee in the hole, but no place to go with it. Ramirez safely in at second, and Culberson is aboard, putting him in at first and second with one out.
Yeah, it's just part of it. You got to be prepared, and we've dealt with pitching injuries, in the past, and they're a little more frequent. Last year, the position player side really got us, and especially down the stretch. But like I said, those young players that got those opportunities last year, a lot of them struggled with them. But having an off season to take all that information they got and apply it and come back this year, I think we're expecting bigger and better things for a few of them at least.
Well, a lot of standing pat and loving on your own players, and, we'll see if that formula works for them.
Yeah, and the way he verbalized it there, he said it would have been nice to have had a veteran lefty.
Yeah.
It would have been nice. So that tells me that the search for that, at least for now, seems like it's finished.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
But like we said, though,
ongoing.
The ultimate deadline here, though, is July. Because if this team is how I would expect them to be, right in the thick of things when we get around trade deadline time, I think then they'll make a move.
Well, and think about this. The Glasnow injury certainly limits Neander right now. Now, I think if a deal came up where another team lost a pitcher and they had some good young left-handed bats that the Rays could control, okay, now you got a trade partner, right? So, those deals that maybe they weren't so willing to do in the offseason because they had a full pitching staff, now they're willing to do. But he doesn't have as much wiggle room now to start the season because Glasnow is down, right? If you trade Glasnow or one of your top pitchers, then, who are you depending on? Will Taj Bradley be that fifth guy? I think they could get through it, especially with this early schedule that they have. But I think this probably pushes that acquisition more to the deadline after Glasnow comes back. Fair to say?
And that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't have any problem with that. Again, I think our common theme here is I'm more high on the team maybe a little bit than you are. Like I see easily 90 to 97 wins if this team stays healthy and doesn't have 17 guys at one time on the injury list last year, which is a miracle they even got to 86 wins to begin with.
It is. No, it is.
You view them more as, I think, closer to what you view them closer to the win total of last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That's the offense. I think it has to get a little bit better just by younger guys getting better. And there were a lot of subpar years and injuries last year. But even though we look at the pitching staff and say, "Wow, this is amazing," Glasnow's already gone down. If they lose another starter, then where are they? The bullpen has a lot of good arms, but how are they all going to fit together? Is Jason Adam going to be as good as he was last year? There are question marks.
To me, it's like I put the pitching aside. I really think the Rays at this point, it's kind of like the Lightning when they make trade deadline moves. It's like I know the results, so I don't question anything. I don't worry about it. It's the same thing with the Rays. I have the last decade and a half to go off of.
I would argue
they're always
last year's
be great at
results were not good.
Pitching?
Just the team in general.
But I'm talking about pitch. I'm trying to separate the pitching because I think your question marks to me are in your lineup. And if I'm trying to be the optimistic and look at it from the bright side, to me it's like you get Brandon Lau back. We forget this is a 40 home run hitter in the MLB. This is maybe the best power hitting second baseman in baseball.
One time 39, very inconsistent.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair, but I'm just saying he's capable of hitting 40 home runs. He's the best power hitting second baseman in baseball probably. You can make that argument, at least in the American League.
Yeah.
Wander, you're assuming, is going to take that step up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yandy's Yandy.
Mm-hmm.
Randy, with these new habits that he has now.
Did you hear he threw to second base instead of throwing home yesterday?
I heard that.
Talk about maturity.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Randy's. I think Paredes could hit 30 home runs this year. You give him more at bats.
My goodness.
There you go. But yeah, I think Paredes could hit 30 home runs if you give him those at bats.
Yeah.
So when you start putting it together, you got 5 or 6 guys that I think are going to do their part. You're never going to have, in my opinion, in most lineups, 1 through 9, everybody's going to be raking. I don't think that's ever really going to happen.
No.
Especially here. But if you can get 5 or 6 guys that are giving you that production, again, 2021 during the regular season. It was a very identical lineup, really. He scored 800-something runs.
Yeah.
Second in the league. So I think there's room for optimism there.
I got to, before we go off the Rays, I got to get this in, just because, I like sarcastic stuff. Lonnie says, did you see the tweet that the Rays hitters could hear the pitch comm yesterday because the Trop was so quiet? No, I didn't see that tweet, but that's true, right? They could hear because there's 25. That place, I tell you what, man, when there's nobody in there, you could hear, if you could be in center field and just talk normal and you could hear them. The acoustics are just like crazy.
What would you want? What do you want the Rays to do? What do you want them to do?
I don't know.
We'd love
not have spring training games in.
Where do you want them to play at? They'd love
Disney. There's a lot of places to play, but it probably costs money.
I've heard the players talk about it. They're loving the fact that they get to be at home and they get to be in their own bed longer and be comfortable.
I don't care. Spring training. If the fans want baseball outside.
Oh, who cares?
Jesus.
Who cares?
Yeah, they'll go to Yankees games in Clearwater and or Phillies games in Clearwater, Yankees games
I
in
could
Tampa.
give a rip where they play
Stadium
spring training.
I know. Other teams care and put money into it.
Oh my gosh, man.
Richie P says, Lonnie, I Googled up the tweet you just mentioned, and the funny part is that the Rays hitters knew what pitch was coming, and the pitcher still threw 2 scoreless innings. SMHLOL. Can we have a little bit of fun with this? You get so annoyed, when the people talk bad about your Rays.
I'm very sensitive to my Rays.
Yeah.
I'm very sensitive to my Rays.
Richie P talking about the Lightning game now. It looked like a Pittsburgh home game. I get it. Said the fans are like the players at this point, waiting for playoffs to show up. Yeah, and this is my favorite. JPP is on the phone like a telemarketer from India. I know, right? It's like he's selling car warranties. All right. So we're going to get into. He has a question also about the combine. So we're going there next. Coming up, we're going to talk to Buccaneers all combine. Yeah, there's a couple players showing out at the combine. And then is there another Aaron Donald in this draft? There might be. And he comes from the same college. So we'll talk about that and much more. Our first hour brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you're looking to lose weight, testosterone replacement therapy, hormone therapy, all there for you at BAMMC.com. Back in 3. Stay with us.
For Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance, because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right, your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah, so call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years.
The boys are back. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of incredible golf plus a host of activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. There is more to the Valspar than just great golf. It's the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Snake Pit Club, accessible by premium tickets, and other great venues throughout the course for those with ground tickets. And new in 2023 is the Rooftop, a new prestigious venue at the 18th green with music, food, and fun. Plus, you never know who you're going to see at the Rooftop. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry supercenter with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? So you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road. Always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, our second hour here. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get into some Bucks, some combine stuff, all that fun stuff here. Anthony Richardson speaking with the media, meeting with the Bucks, as we predicted many, many months ago. Welcome back. We appreciate you guys jumping in here. You can continue to comment on our comment section on YouTube and just follow the show there. Subscribe at YouTube. All right, so the Bucks did meet with Anthony Richardson, Florida quarterback, and obviously he is going to be on the Buccaneers' radar. Watching a lot of the combine shows on NFL Network yesterday and this morning, a lot of talk about Anthony Richardson, and he is going to – quarterbacks will work out and be measured tomorrow. They're talking today. And Anthony did talk, so we have a little bit of sound from Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, quick little interaction here, and this is Scott Reynolds, who was just asking the question if he spoke with the Bucs in an interview.
Have you met with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yet? They need a quarterback.
I have, yes, sir.
Was that a formal interview?
Yes, sir.
How did that go with Todd Bowles and Jason Light?
It was pretty well. Just getting to know them. Talking about my life, talking about ball. Pretty well.
Yeah, very brief there from Anthony.
Oh, okay. Look, he is going to absolutely wow everybody at this combine. 6'4.5", 230-some pounds. He's going to have the highest standing broad jump. He's going to have the best 40-yard dash. He's going to blow people away. And when you turn on the tape, there's a lot of flash. There's no question about it. And he's just a project. He's a guy that has had 13 starts and is going to take some time to learn his craft. But he's going to be a first-round pick. Somebody's going to take the chance. For the Buccaneers, I just don't think it's a fit for many reasons we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, it's important to note that I think teams get 45 formal visits, I believe, which it used to be 60. Now it's 45, and those are the ones that you actually meet with Liked and Bowles in like a separate room, I believe.
Right.
So clearly if he's in the top 45, that they really like him. I love the way he talks, by the way.
You like that?
That's great.
He's got the pipes.
He's got the pipes.
Yeah.
That's that smooth voice. I like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sold.
He doesn't sound super mature to me, though.
What does that mean?
Exactly what I said. We got some Hendon Hooker sound here.
What does that? Hold up. What does that mean?
He doesn't sound very mature.
He had a very deep voice, and he said yes, sir, to Scott's questions.
It's my.
He was very polite. What do you mean not mature?
It doesn't sound mature and professional. Sounds like an 18-year-old kid.
What?
Exactly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's what
was
I
wrong
heard.
with what he said?
All right, this is Hendon Hooker.
I don't know what you're talking about, though.
I'm characterizing how I believe he sounds.
His deep voice?
No, not just the deep voice, but the way his vocabulary, the way he talks, the way he carries himself.
Who cares?
I care. I want a mature quarterback coming into the NFL.
Look, Scott asked him a question, and he said, yes, sir, yes, sir. He looked him in the eye. Those are the things I look at.
Okay. We can have differences of opinion.
I just don't understand your opinion.
Okay. Well, let's listen to Hendon Hooker talk at the Combine.
Everybody can throw the ball. Everybody's a great quarterback, but my consistency and my accuracy, as you can see on film, I was completed 69% of my passes. So I continue to be accurate and get the playmakers the ball. That's the main goal.
Yeah, I feel some maturity in that conversation. I like this.
Because he wanted to talk a little bit more?
I like this young man a lot. I like the maturity of his game. I like the fact that he's 25 years old, which I think is people see, well, Anthony Richardson, what is he, 21 years old? 21, I think. And you see that, he's going to have a longer early career to me. But if I get 10 years out of a quarterback, which if he starts at 25 and goes to 35, that's fine with me. I mean, whether he starts at 20 and goes to 31, 32, and especially the way, the Cam Newtons, when you play that way, you don't last 45 till you're 45 years old in this league. You don't. It's a different type of player. I get it. So I just don't, for the many reasons I said yesterday about Anthony, he's not accurate, and I'm not so sure that's something that can be quickly fixed. Okay. For this particular offense, what has Dave Canales said? It's pitch and catch, right? You got to complete those short passes, and you have to be very accurate with it.
Which Hendon just told you.
Yeah, you can't throw it, a yard behind. You got to throw it a yard of front or a foot in front. These are big distinctions in the NFL, and if you're not that accurate, you're not going to be successful. Anthony Richardson has a hard time putting it within the catch radius. Not even in the optimal place for Yak. So, and the fact that he's young, the fact that he's from Gainesville, he's close. There's, obviously a lot of chatter about his lack of maturity. And I think that's a thing. I think it's a thing. Now, again, if you're looking for a 3 to 4 or 5 year project, he's your guy. I don't think that's what the Bucs are looking for right now, especially when there's maybe quarterbacks on the board that are a little bit more predictable in how they're going to be able to transition to the NFL. That's my take on the two of these guys.
I'm with you. I'm with you there. I'm with you there. And Hendon said, by the way, he's cleared next week to throw standing up. He said that he fully expects to be ready to go around camp time, right? 100%, he said. So I think a lot of those concerns that everybody has with the injuries, I agree with you there. I don't see what's the big whoop. Like, guys tear their ACLs all the time.
Right.
I don't want to see a guy tear their ACL. I'm not saying that, but it happens.
And he said he's going to be ready to full go by training camp.
Yes, and you're starting to see more steam now, and it's no coincidence that it's combine season, so all this stuff kind of comes out now. But you're seeing more people like the Daniel Jeremiahs of the world, and what was it, Miller? I can't even think of his first name anymore. Matt Miller on ESPN. You're starting to see some of the, like Daniel Jeremiah went on McAfee's show and said that we're not talking about Hendon Hooker enough.
Yeah.
And that he could be a first-round
Shut
quarterback.
up.
Yeah, shut up, please.
Man.
Please, but we're not talking about it enough. So you're starting to see kind of people come around because I feel like he got hurt. The season got cut short. And it's like people, because everything moves so quickly, everybody just was like, all right, see ya.
Yeah,
we just forgot about
somebody once said, he's not going to go to second or third round. He's got an ACL. And I'm like, why? Well, he's got a first. You all have him with a first-round grade. That's he's going to be ready to go by. And that may be a little ambitious, being ready to go by training camp. And again, for the Buccaneers, I don't need it. That's the time Kyle Trask is supposed to be wowing us with all of his abilities. And you might say, well, we got a lot of holes to fill. Why would you draft a quarterback when we have so many holes?
It's the most important position on the field.
And you have Kyle Trask because Kyle Trask has proven nothing.
That's why you at least consider it.
Yeah, it's not even a consideration. If the Bucs don't draft a quarterback, what are we doing? You don't have one.
Are you talking about in the first round, or do you mean like just in general?
In general, in the first 3 rounds. The first 3 rounds. Because, after that, yes, Brock Purdy, yes, Tom Brady, I get it. But Dak Prescott. Give me somebody who has a legitimate chance to have a great upside. And I think Hendon Hooker is that guy. And my biggest fear is that he's not going to be at 19. And people are like, what are you, crazy? He's got a torn ACL. Doesn't matter.
You never know. It only takes one team.
Exactly.
To fall in
it
love
only
with
takes one team. And I think there's what? We've counted, 10 teams that need quarterbacks right now?
And he says that he's extensively met with the Raiders.
Yeah. Hendon Hooker.
Extensively met with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But Aaron Rodgers is going to the Raiders.
I don't know about that. Hold up. I have to just address. Richie says here, to JP's point, he sounds like an 18-year-old kid.
Right.
I appreciate this compliment. Nick, that is why you get respect, because you don't sound your age, and if you're going to hand the keys to the franchise to a kid, at least sound the part.
Bingo.
Well, I appreciate the compliment,
Bingo.
but I still don't understand how he sounds like an 8. Like, what do you mean 8? I guess I can't, what does an 18-year-old kid sound like?
Play the Anthony Richardson sound again. And that's what an 18-year-old kid sounds like.
All right, let me go back to AR here.
Do you have some different sound we can listen to? I mean, I've seen his interviews. I know how he carries himself.
But everybody was saying in the NFL, like I think McShay said yesterday, that he's spoken to a lot of the teams that have met with Anthony, and everybody says that in the interview process that he's killing it.
Okay.
So if there was a concern there, it sounds like he's done really well.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if there's like a longer bite of Anthony talking. Let me see if I can find one. But
well, there's a bunch of them there. Just play them.
Here we go. We'll talk. This is him about talking about growing up and talking about his family. So let's see how he sounds here.
If you ask a lot of people around in Gainesville, I had a black little mountain bike, and whenever you saw me on it, you saw my little brother on the handlebars. I had to take him to school. I had to take him to get food. I had to get him dressed for school. So that's my brother, but I love him like he's my son. I'm just glad that he's a part of my life. I love him, and I just can't wait for both of us to live out our dreams.
Do you have any plans for what you might do for your mom with one of your first NFL paychecks?
My mom, she doesn't want me to do anything for her, because she said it was her job as a mother to take care of me the way she did. Awesome. I'm definitely thankful for her, and I love her. And y'all about to make me cry up here, but I'm definitely take care of my mom. Whatever she wants, she can have it. I don't plan on. I don't have anything in mind, but whatever she wants, and she said, she just called my name, and I got it.
That's awesome. That's great stuff.
Right there. I'm glad I picked that one out.
That's great.
Stuff. Shut all y'all up. Man.
By the way, Mom always says, "I don't want anything. Do it anyway."
That got me. Man.
Do it anyway.
That got me a little bit.
That's really good. That's really good. And he sounds. I'm not saying he's a bad kid at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, the chatter, and he sounded great there. The chatter has always been about him that there's immaturity to his game and his preparation. That changes when you get to the NFL. I get that. And so how will he react to that? You hope that it will be better. But this is the thing. You're comparing him. Look, is he good enough to get to the NFL
it's
and
not
be a
even
first-round
fair.
pick? Absolutely.
It's like we have to compare him to Hendon Hooker, obviously.
Right, exactly.
But it's really not fair to compare because they're in two different stages of life.
Absolutely. I mean,
let's
the
just be
difference
honest
between 21 and
21 and 25 is a pretty big difference.
45 starts to 13 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's almost unfair to Anthony, but it's the way it is.
It is unfair, but it's the situation. So, and that's why I'm saying I'm not trying to dog Anthony Richardson. I'm just saying that he's just I don't think he's a good fit here.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think
he's going to be. Where the NFL is going, man, he's
the prototype.
He's the prototype, absolutely, no question about it. But it's going to take, I think it's going to take 3 or 4 years and a very patient organization to get him to where he needs to be to win a championship. I don't think that matches with where the Bucs are at right now. Plus the proximity to his home and those issues that have been talked about. Hopefully, he cleans all that stuff up. And it's just look. And here's the thing: we're not talking about living a normal life here. It's not. This is not like, hey, you're moving on to your job after college. You are going to be the leader of 53 men whose mortgages are dependent on you and how you handle yourself and how you handle your off time, how you prepare. Look what's going on with Kyler Murray. He's got all the ability in the world. He can't be an NFL quarterback because he's not mature enough. He's just not.
Correct.
And it takes it's a hard job. There's only 15 to 20 people on the planet that can do it.
Yeah.
And the leadership skills have to be off the charts at the level. I mean, I could never do this stuff, and that's what I'm saying. We need you when we're looking at your skill set, and not just your skill set, but your maturity level and all those things that are. It all factors into being the face of a franchise. The pressure is unbelievable. Are you equipped at this point of your life and maturity to be able to handle that? I think it's going to be a tough run for him. And he may not be mentally able to handle all of that pressure. Emotionally, it's tough to do. So, I just, for where I'm at, where the Bucs are at, I don't think he's a good fit. But I think he can be successful in this league. No question about it.
I could see it.
Yeah,
I could make the argument. I could see him being more of a success story than Will Levis. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. The ceiling for Anthony Richardson, first of all, his ceiling might be higher than any quarterback in the draft, actually, realistically.
I was watching a piece, Ryan Leaf was doing a piece this morning on Will Levis. He did a tape breakdown. And he showed some of his negatives, but also his positives. And he's very, very high on Will Levis. And he says his comp is Josh Allen. Not Josh Allen right now. Not Josh Allen, and this is what I told you the other day.
Is this Josh Allen the prospect? Or,
yes,
okay.
Josh Allen the
There
prospect, coming out of Wyoming. Not a lot of starts under his belt.
That's fair.
But the arm talent was undeniable. The size, the speed, the running ability was undeniable. His competitive level was. But Josh Allen was not good his first couple years.
I was out on Josh Allen after 2 years.
Don't be. Let's not get it twisted here. But he's become that. I think Will Levis and I think Anthony Richardson is a comparable Josh Allen comp as well.
He was asked today, actually, Anthony, I did see this quote about who he models his game after, and he said he looked up to Cam Newton and he looked up to Lamar Jackson, and he likes to be a hybrid of those two guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've already – everything, the obvious comparison has always been Cam.
Yeah, because of the size.
Because of the size and the speed. Like, I'm excited to see what he runs at this combine.
It's going to be fast. It's going to be fast. It's going to blow. Well, not only that, but just the other drills. He's going to,
it's going to be insane.
It's going to be insane. And people get enamored with that. There's no question about it. And again, I think he'd be a great fit in some other places, but I just don't think it's right in Tampa Bay right now. If I had to pick between the two, I would go Hendon Hooker all day.
Yeah. Bucks Baseman said, I don't see the Bucks drafting Hendon Hooker. Way too many holes on the roster to get a quarterback, which I'm assuming high.
See, Bucks Basement, man, we need to get you guys on the phone here. I'd like to have we can try this. It's like, you don't have a quarterback. Yes, I understand you have a lot of holes on your team, but you don't have a quarterback. That's the biggest hole in the game.
I think there is, though. Like they do have a lot of holes, though, and a lot of things they need to get up. They could use a premium draft pick on.
I think if Hendon Hooker falls to you in the draft, it's the biggest gift of all time.
At 19?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know yet. We have to see how this process goes, but.
What I'm saying is, what is there not to like about this kid?
It doesn't matter if
accuracy.
It doesn't
maturity,
matter if we love him or not. But
film.
the NFL is telling you that for whatever reason he's not being viewed by, at least in the perception, as a first round. So that's what they're telling you at the moment.
I'm sorry,
that could change.
I don't go.
You may
by
not
what
believe
the
that.
NFL
I don't know.
says. And the NFL was telling us he's a third-round pick.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, I look at the tape. It's the same thing I said about Lamar Jackson. As he goes down the draft board, I'm like, what are you people doing?
Sometimes they get it wrong.
My point. I saw the tape on Lamar Jackson. I saw what he did to FSU multiple times.
I don't know. My final take on it is there could be one team that really loves him, and the Bucs will know it, and they can maneuver in the draft if they have to. But at this moment, I don't know how many teams are realistically looking at Hendon Hooker for round one. I'll tell you a name that they stay at 19. And honestly, I think based on his performance yesterday, he might have played himself out of the Bucs' favor.
This guy?
Well, we'll do Kalijah first, and I'll go to my guy.
All right, Kalijah Cansey runs a 4.67 at the 40. Broke Aaron Donald's record. What do you think of having an ACC Defensive Player of the Year on the Bucs? Flashes of sap with that get-up. He's tremendous. He is tremendous. The numbers are there. The speed is there. The production is there. Everything is there. The size part of it is actually comparable to Aaron Donald. That doesn't bother me in the least. He's 6'1", 285. Love it. What a compliment he would be to Vita Vea. Holy moly! You got the big guy who's quick and can push people, and then you got him next to you, who's so fast. You literally have to double team both of those guys. Please, I could play rush end with those two guys in the middle. Are you kidding me? With as much attention that they would give and disruption, I think he would be a tremendous addition to this team. But again, you don't have a quarterback. You don't have a quarterback. And it looks, if Anthony Richardson, which I don't think is a great fit, but if Hendon Hooker is not there, if Will Levis is there at 19, which I don't think he will, but evidently people don't think as much of Hendon Hooker. If he's there, you take him, in my mind. Otherwise, yes.
If it's not quarterback, I think I'm all over the defensive line.
Yeah.
Whether that's
I know where you're going to.
Edge rusher. My guy, I said him a couple weeks ago. I think yesterday he probably put himself out of the Bucs a little bit, and that's Nolan Smith from Georgia. My goodness, man.
Run the audio from that 40.
I'll run the audio from the 40.
This dude, when I see big guys move like this, I'm just like, holy shiz, man. It's just unbelievable. Look at how fast he is.
Yep.
He's 1.52.
He is rolling.
4.44. Full Moses Malone there.
Hey, now.
And by the way, the official time was 4:39.
4.39 for Nolan Smith, man.
How big is he? 275?
No. He's very light. That's the thing. He's 238.
He's 238?
He's very light.
He looks he looks 275.
That's why it's like, it's not the most surprising thing in the world that he ran that fast because he's 238.
He could easily get to Khalil Mack 255.
Yeah, but his
260.
and his 10-yard split was
152.
152, which is a combine record.
Yeah, that's get off.
As currently as it stands.
That is some get off right there.
Yeah, the 41.5-inch vertical. I mean, I'm not too big into those
Holy
things, but it's obviously. I think
it just shows athleticism.
It just shows athleticism.
You know, and it shows you everything you see on tape.
Yeah, it's the 98th percentile there for the vert. Yeah. He's got the production, and you know what? Most importantly, because this is where the Bucs have struggled, and this is where Joe Tryon has struggled. Nolan Smith in the SEC, the highest competition, has been the best run defender of any edge rusher in the SEC of the last 2 years.
That's
number one.
I was just going to say 238 is a little light in the pants for me as far as an elite pass rusher, but because in a 3-4 you got to play the run as well. You got to be stout at the point of attack.
He does it better than anybody in the draft by far.
And he's going to get bigger. In an NFL camp, he's going to get bigger. So, yeah, but he's not going to be there at 19.
I thought he was going to be there at 19 for sure.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I don't know. Because Kalijah Kancey's moving up these boards. Now Nolan Smith is moving up these boards. We have to watch what's going on with the Jalen Carter thing of how teams feel about him. How far is his slide going to be? Who knows?
Do you want to draft him?
Some teams are going to start looking at all these other guys like Brian Brees and Miles Murphy. I mean, these guys are all going to start rising because at the end of the day, edge rusher is still to me the second most important position on the football field, outside the quarterback.
Yeah. It's quarterback and the guy who affects the quarterback the most.
There you go.
Absolutely, no question about it. Total agreement there. And listen, and that's why this draft is so big for the Buccaneers. I mean, they've got to come away with. As I think they're going to lose Jamel Dean. They've got to come away with a corner that can start.
That can steal the ball, too.
Yeah, that can catch. They got to come away with an edge rusher. To me, those are the two most important spots right now, and a quarterback as well, obviously. So, and again, yeah, I mean, you got Kyle Trask, so is it the most important? No. If I'm not reaching for somebody, but if Hendon Hooker is there, I'm taking him. If he's not, I'm moving on to defense. That's where at 19. And if Hendon Hooker isn't there, honestly, I'm moving back from 19 to pick up another second or third, stay high in the second round, hopefully, and start, get me, if I can get 3 or 4 picks in that top 100, top 90, and so they got 2 right now, right? They've got 2.
Yeah, I think it's still likely the Bucs will end up doing that, but
or 3 in the top 100. Yeah,
because it's a very deep. This is a deep class.
Yeah,
this is a very deep class.
It's a very deep class at corner, at running back, at edge rusher, and tight end. All of needs for this team.
Hold up, Rachaad White is snapping next year. By the way,
what happened?
He just revealed that next year, new number. He's wearing number 1.
Ooh.
Rachaad White's going for like 1,500 yards on the ground next year. I'm just
He's
saying
wearing
right
number
now.
1.
I'm Mr. When you put on a certain number, it matters. Look at that. Look how fresh he looks in the number 1.
I
love it.
Statement.
It's a statement right there.
He was
wearing that number 1.
He was getting pissed off the other day when people were talking about Bijan Robinson, right?
Oh yeah, he was like, snapping back at people like, give me 200 something carries and see what happens and all this kind of stuff.
I'm telling you, folks.
I love this dude.
Rachaad White, I'm telling you, folks, and not to that level, but Keyshawn Vaughn can play. He can play in this league. And Rachaad White can play in this league. That's why I'm not. I mean, if they take a running back, are you out of your tree?
Please.
4th round at the most. You go get you
I'll
one in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, but not. You better have an edge rusher. You better have a quarterback. You better have a corner, and maybe even an inside linebacker before you go running back. For God's sakes, no freaking way.
I'm laughing at this comment because I believe this is a blast from the past here.
Who's that?
Kevin Molinak says, "You watch tape, JP? Signed Chris Landry."
Oh, that was a great moment. And, oh yeah, the greatest scout of all time, Chris Landry. Yeah. Oh my God, that was a classic.
I vaguely remember that story.
Yeah,
vaguely.
Yeah, he hung up on me when I challenged him. Yeah. So anybody who doesn't like to be challenged in a respectful way doesn't know their stuff. This just in. What's that? What do you got now?
This is from the Lightning. We can either go to break or I can say it right now.
A tease. We got a tease anyway.
The Lightning are interested in someone, according to a very prominent NHL insider.
Big name?
A big name, but...
we got to tease you on this one. All right, quick tease. 3-minute break. We're brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Get your insurance checkup right now. And if you have a new side hustle, a business that's growing, got to have business insurance. Very inexpensive, but you got to have it. Otherwise, you're leaving yourself open to litigation and could cost you your entire personal fortune. So don't do that. Italiano will get you a great quote and quick. 813-877-7799. Back in 3 with the big name the Lightning are chasing. Stay with us.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
The PGA Tour is back. The Valspar Championship returns to Innisbrook March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of great golf action and a host of fun activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. Every tournament day offers something different. On Friday, we'll celebrate St. Patrick's Day with the wearing of the green. Saturday means Valspar Live, where tournament patrons will be able to enjoy country music superstar Darius Rucker with a free 90-minute show after the conclusion of play. And on Sunday, we're going to crown a champion. You don't want to miss it. Everybody will be there. Tickets on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss it. The 2023 Valspar Championship.
Hey guys, it's a new year, so are you looking for a new you to lose weight, lean up? There are many diets and chiropractors and weight loss clinics out there, but you know where to start? Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, PA, and his professional staff will devise a personal plan for you that gets results and help you keep the weight off. Everybody metabolizes food and supplements differently, and many of these other approaches are designed for the masses, the quick weight loss, but it doesn't stay off, right? Chris will spend one-on-one time with you to find out what works best for you, so the weight comes off safely without use of drugs that only work temporarily. So call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. And Chris will join us each Monday at 11:45 to talk about your wellness and the significant injuries to athletes in the sports world. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at American Mortgage Service. My good friend Scott Fitzgerald will get you a great mortgage. Rates are going all over the place. They're up, they're down. He'll get you the best one, lock you in, and get you started on your way to new home ownership. He'll help you with your personal finances. No one goes deeper and more in-depth than Scott Fitzgerald. He's done 3 of my loans. let him do one for you as well. Just contact him, Scott@amstampa.com, Scott@amstampa.com. He will definitely get you the lowest rates and will help you on every process of it, make it speedy, make it easy for you, and explain everything as they go, and does not have all these extra fees that these big banks put in there. So if you want to do it the right way and somebody who's really going to give you personal attention, Scott Fitzgerald at AMS Mortgage. That's Scott@amstampa.com. All right, what's the big name? What's the big name?
The big name, and this is from Frank Saravelli, NHL Insider, that the Lightning are among the teams inquiring about John Klingberg, defenseman for the Anaheim Ducks. If you recall, he used to be the #1 defenseman on Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
We saw them in the Stanley Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
And Saravelli says they're running low on assets, but could clear enough cap space by getting the Ducks to take back Philippe Myers and run Klingberg's salary through a third-party broker. Is how the Lightning would make that work. My facial expression was what it was, is because John Klingberg is not good
anymore.
Okay, he's always been an offensive defenseman. I believe he has like a 67-point season under his belt in the NHL. So he's an offensive defenseman, but defensively, which is where we need the Lightning to get one of those kind of stay-at-home guys, I feel like. I don't think we need another offensive defenseman there.
I don't think that's on the need list.
When I say he's not good, maybe that sounds disrespectful, but I'm very big into the hockey analytic community, and I just showed you the graph that I saw literally 2 days ago.
That's not good.
In this graph, you want to be on the right side in the upper quartile, right? Yeah. If it was like a square. You want to be on that upper right.
It's like the hot, crazy matrix.
Yes.
So like the wedding part is up to the right.
Yeah,
like
without making it too confusing.
Trashy stripper is down to the left.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
He's in the trashy stripper area.
Oh, yeah, and he's by himself. He's by himself.
He's a real
okay. His defensive metrics on the thing that I go by, and it's JFresh Hockey on Twitter. We had him on before. He's great. His player card that he has, his defensive percentile, like in WAR or whatever, is 1.
That's not good.
He's just a body.
Just a body.
Okay? So I don't care what his offense is. I just know that he's awful at defense.
Sounds like a smokescreen.
Yeah, he's a minus 28. Now, he plays on Anaheim, which is they're horrendous.
Yeah, but still.
minus 28, minus 36 for the career.
I thought you were getting me excited about somebody.
I wasn't getting. Did you see my face when I looked at it?
I heard the name, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember him. He's really good. He played in the Stanley Cup final.
Well, sorry, I just crapped on it with the reality.
Well, guys, they slide. They slide in their career, and he's no longer good.
Yeah, and
so we don't want him.
Yeah, even when he went into free agency, like he opted out of his contract with Dallas to get something else. He signed very late on a 1-year deal with Anaheim.
Yeah.
Because teams were like, we're not giving this guy a long-term deal. So.
All right, so that's not the one. But
so that's for the Lightning.
By the way, this story has now hit the major Associated Press with the headline, Maeda throws 2 scoreless innings despite Rays hearing the calls.
This was a real – I thought y'all were screwing with me.
No, this is what happened. From the AP, this was a different kind of pitch tipping when Minnesota Twins right-hander Kenta Maeda, I believe?
Kenta Maeda.
Yeah, made only his second spring start when returned from Tommy John. Twins manager Rocco Baldelli said the PitchCom device catcher Tony Walters was using was loud enough for Tampa Bay Rays hitters to hear every pitch that was called. Plate umpire Brendan Miller heard them all through the wireless system used by pitchers and catchers to communicate. Maeda still threw 2 scoreless innings, allowing 2 hits. This is going to go down in Rays offensive futility history. Hey, remember the time they could hear the pitches?
Wait, remember what was it? I can't remember if this was because of COVID or something else that happened. I don't know if it was 2019 or 2020 now, when Baltimore had to play like a series without anybody in the crowd.
Yeah.
What happened? It was something that happened. I can't remember if it was COVID.
Yeah.
If it wouldn't be COVID because everybody played. No, that wouldn't make sense because nobody played in their home stadiums. I think it was in 2019.
Riots? Maybe riots or something?
It might have been riots or something, but they had to play a whole series, and it was weird.
Yeah.
And everybody could hear everything that they were saying in the dugouts.
Yeah, that is weird because that acoustically, those dugouts just put it out there. So, yeah, that was kind of interesting. But
wow, ESPN made a story on it.
Yeah,
interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Me and ESPN aren't exactly on good terms right now.
You and ESPN?
No.
Oh, let's play that. Let's play that audio. So, ESPN, the official network of your NHL, whose lead commentator on their opinion shows is who? Stephen A. Smith.
Smith.
This is the Wednesday, I guess, when they have Mad Dog on.
No, this was yesterday, and they had Michael Kay on.
Oh, Michael Kay on. I'm sorry.
I can't keep track with who's his guest host anymore every single day.
Yeah, nobody wants to work
Michael
with him.
Irvin's suspended right now, so he ain't here. Michael Kay.
Yeah. I miss Michael Irvin.
Some good news.
I have a good one. I think it's an interesting one.
Okay.
Which team in New York do you think wins a championship next?
Rangers. Oh, Lord.
Come on, Patrick Kane is able.
Count. They don't count. Take
They
them
don't
out.
count.
They don't count.
Only thing I know about hockey is that the puck is black.
Okay.
And I love Gary Bettman. That's my buddy who I owe a trip to the hockey game.
Right.
It is no disrespect to the Rangers and to Patrick Kane, of course, but just for Stephen
Football,
A.
basketball, baseball.
Yeah.
Yankees or the Mets?
What? Gary Bettman's got to love that, even though he got his shout-out. So the puck is black.
The puck is black. That's all we know about hockey on the official TV partner of the NHL.
You got to be better, Steve.
And this is the number one show on that network with the most prominent analyst on this network saying this stuff. And he tried to put out some video. Everybody needs to calm down. Stop coming after me.
What about what's her face? She says it
Oh,
right
her
off
comment.
the bat.
Her comment.
Oh, that
hurt me
doesn't
most.
count.
It doesn't
What?
count. The way it's the way that she that doesn't count. Like, how dare you come on this show and not talk about the Yankees or the Knicks? How dare you do that?
The NBA is so much better than the
Give
NHL.
me a break, man.
Are you out of your
This is what
freaking
gets on my
mind?
nerves. This undermines everything that they go to ESPN because they wanted to grow the game, right? We're going to be on ESPN. ESPN tried to talk it up like, oh, we're going to grow the game. Has the game grown on ESPN?
No.
They don't treat it like a priority at all.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
I give you an example.
They piss on it every
There
chance
was a
they
full
get,
slate
and
of
that's-
there was a
that's the
full
number
slate
one.
of full slate of NHL games last night, by the way.
Connor McDavid is doing things this year that have never been done in hockey. Even
Yeah,
Wayne Gretzky.
we should be tracking 70. If we want to be tracking Aaron Judge hitting 60 home runs, we should be tracking Connor McDavid getting 70 goals potentially.
Damn right.
That's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
But we're not doing that.
No.
And in fact, I watched SportsCenter this morning, 7 o'clock. 7:24 before we get to a hockey highlight.
And what's going on?
What was going on last night in the world of sports?
Not a bunch of bad NBA
the
games.
Detroit Mercy versus the Youngstown State, whatever that was going on.
Yeah, because the guy's Antoine Davis is three short of Pete Maravich's NCAA record.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Okay.
That's a big deal. But
it comes before the NHL highlights.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I say before we got to an NHL highlight, one game got a highlight reel. And then they went to soccer. So that tells me they just lump it with other sports like soccer, you know?
Yeah.
A little quick in and out. And we're moving on. That's
Crazy.
all it was.
And I'm sure it was Rangers, Patrick Kane.
It was the Rangers and Senators.
Which it wasn't even the best game of the night.
No.
Not even close.
No, this stuff just really it enrages me. It
Yeah,
really,
it should.
really does because
It should.
I'm tired of this game getting the disrespect because the product is this is the best the NHL product has ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And this network, the worldwide, they need to take that off. They need to stop calling themselves that.
No.
Because all they cover is football and all they cover is basketball.
Yeah, and
it's annoying.
And it's and all of their shows
And
are,
you
are very one-sided.
undermine, and we're like to show the whole point. I thought the point we were promised that was going to be an hour show every single day, and now it's just been shoved to ESPN Plus. You can barely find it.
Yeah,
it's like low production rate.
Yeah,
I mean you're undermining the people on that network that try to cover hockey.
And I'm sure that they put it up there and like, oh, our ratings, are not great with the. Well, stick with it, man. You're trying to convert an audience that hasn't been much into hockey. Do better. Stick with
How
it.
about social media? Social media is a real thing here.
Yeah.
Go look at the ESPN social media and try to go back to the last 100 posts. You might find one that was NHL related.
Yeah.
One. But we got time for the Winneba. We got time for the Winneba. Every time there's a Winneba trade, we have to talk about it.
What is that?
The WNBA. I call it the Winneba.
Look, it has its place too, but come on, this is the NHL.
That's fine, but are you going to tell me that's more of a priority than the NHL?
Oh, it definitely is. They do highlights of every WNBA game almost every night.
In fair, I'm not trying to be demeaning to the W. I'm not. I'm just saying
let's look at their ratings.
If you're going to put that in the same league as the NHL, you're out of your mind.
Right. Yeah, but that's what they're doing.
But that's what you're doing.
Yeah. Do you think if I don't even know what is it? The New York Liberty, that WNBA team? I don't know what it is.
Yes.
What if Michael Kay would have said in New York NBA? Do you think Molly Karen would have said, "Oh, that doesn't count"?
I literally thought that exact thing.
No.
Because that's a realistic thing, by the way. Because from my small knowledge of that league, I believe they have like Ionescu.
Yeah.
The one that was at Oregon. It's
Yeah.
really good. So I don't know. Maybe they're a good team. I don't know. But I kept thinking to myself, if he would have said the New York Liberty, what would they have said?
She wouldn't have said that. I can guarantee you that. And that's the only thing that ESPN seems to really gravitate towards when it comes to the NHL is when Gary Bettman is on his woke kick. They'll bring him in for that.
It's funny how Stephen A. is. Gary Bettman's a good friend of mine, you know.
Yeah. but you just
dogged
his
league.
league.
You just trashed his league in front of 500,000 people who watched your show yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's why it's not important to him, because there's not enough black players. Or I wouldn't say not enough, but
No, I wouldn't say that. I don't think it's that. I just feel like, to me, in my opinion, it can't be that big of a show on ESPN, and you cannot be Stephen A. Smith, the most prominent analyst,
saying the
and make
puck
that
is
comment.
black.
You
It's just
cannot
like,
make that
come
comment.
on, man.
You have to be better than
Come
that.
on. Why does everything have to be race with these people?
Wait,
Like
what are you-
everything.
Whoa, what are you talking about?
When he says the puck is black, that's the only thing I like about hockey.
He didn't say that's what he likes about it. He said the only thing I know about hockey is the puck is black.
Well, same thing. I mean,
Not a
come on,
race
man.
thing.
All right.
I don't look at it like that.
All right.
I don't look at it like that.
Well, I think that's why they look down their nose in hockey, because they look at it as a white sport and not inclusive as much as the NHL has tried to do with that, and they've done a great job with it. By the way, fantastic job. The number of black players is growing exponentially every single year because they're starting to get into the game, and that's a good thing. But it's going to take some time.
I don't know. I just feel like it's more, to me, the issue with hockey. It goes across all networks. Hockey just doesn't get the. They don't get the
Well,
market.
yeah,
They don't.
I agree.
It's all in general across the board. It's all NFL and NBA.
Yeah.
It just bothers me that the NBA gets as much pub as like the NFL,
And
they're on that level.
It's not even close.
They're on the.
Their ratings
and
are
in reality, the NBA and the MLB are so comparable.
Yeah.
And we don't even talk about baseball.
Yeah, hardly. Yeah.
We don't.
No, ESPN has a huge contract with the
And when they
with
do,
the
it's about,
NBA.
oh, the
They have to put it all out there, but nobody's watching
Okay,
it.
well, you're paying
Nobody's
the NHL.
watching it.
You're paying the NHL $400 million.
No.
You tell me that $400 million means nothing?
You should promote it. Compared to what they pay the NBA. No,
Holy
they should
crap.
promote it.
If you were so excited about Patrick Kane's debut with the Rangers, that should have been on ESPN last night.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. We didn't talk about this yesterday, so I wanted to get into it a little bit. By the way, we didn't talk about Cam Brate. Cam Brate is going to be released.
Oh, yes.
And, hats off to Cam Brate, 9-year career out of Harvard. He ends up with 33 touchdowns and catches the last Tom Brady touchdown if he doesn't come back. That's one short of Jimmy Giles. That's how good that is.
Yep.
He had a 3-year span where he was, I think, 1 or 2 in the league in terms of tight end touchdown catches. An undrafted guy out of Harvard who made the most of his athletic ability and his ability. Just a great dude, always there. Win or lose. Just a great guy, and will go down, I think, as one of the better tight ends and one of the better dudes that has ever worn a Buccaneers uniform. Hats off. Thank you, Cameron Brate. You are a true consummate professional. We appreciate you, and I'm sure there's great things ahead for him, whether he wants to get into broadcasting or whatever.
He said, I think he plans on, he met his wife also through the Bucks.
Brooke, yep.
So I believe that they just bought a new home in Tampa, and they plan on settling down here regardless if this is over for his career or whatever.
Yeah.
$28 million he made.
It's a lot of money.
How many guys from Harvard have made it? Not many.
No.
And undrafted at that. And think about when he got here.
Him and Fitz would probably have the best.
Probably.
Harvard.
And think about when he got here. The Bucks were awful. Okay. I believe he was cut once and went to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then cut again, came back. The team drafted Austin Seferian-Jenkins with a high draft pick.
Yep, number 2 pick.
He outlasted him. They drafted O.J. Howard in the first round.
Yes,
and
they
this
did.
is even when Cam Brate was actually really good.
Yeah.
And they still didn't believe in him, and they said, hey, we're going to go get O.J. Howard, and, we'll leave you here as his backup. Guess what?
Wasted pick.
He outlasted O.J. Howard.
Yep. Yeah.
9 years as a Buccaneer, and from everything that I hear from all the media members, and you just backed it up, a absolute professional, would face the music after every loss, and was as gracious as they come.
Best of the best. And
Yeah.
just really when it comes to
And
that.
a great stash.
That stash was legendary. That will go down as one of the greatest stashes ever in NFL history. A bit of ugly news came out this week as the NFL Players Association released their survey. It's an anonymous survey and has to do with rating the treatment of families, food service and nutrition, weight room, training staff, locker room, and team travel. Bucs players gave the highest grades to strength coaches, an A. The training staff, led by Bobby Slater, A-, and the weight room, B+. Team travel earned the only failing grade, followed closely by food service and nutrition. They got a D. Treatment of families, D+. The quote here is, players feel their locker room is small and outdated and their travel policies are uncomfortable. The Bucs are one of 6 teams that make a large segment of their players have a roommate for road games and are among only 8 teams that don't offer players first-class seats. Interesting. Only 79% of players feel like the Glazer family is willing to invest money into upgrading the facilities. Only 79%? That seems like a high number.
Well, I actually wrote about this with the Cowboys, and I think the number for Jerry Jones was 96%.
Loved it.
So just compare it there.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good margin.
I mean, that facility is just unbelievable.
Yeah, and I believe it's newer compared to a lot in the league.
2006.
But I feel like it's had a lot of upgrades. I mean, they just got the new indoor facility that went up, a couple years ago.
I honestly don't know what more you could do for the players. My God.
I don't know. I think the whole player families things, it sounds like there's a lot of teams that offer like daycare and things like that.
Maybe our 38-man coaching staff that we're hopefully paring down to a normal number will allow the Glazers to spend more of that money on the players instead
and maybe if they finally
that's a chunk.
And
Those
maybe
salaries
if they finally sell Manchester United and they get the books in line, they can throw that money over here then.
Well, it ain't
do all those
they've
things.
had a lot of money. They just I thought there was always roommates on the road. So now the NFL.
They're only one of 6 teams that does it.
I'm surprised by that, to be honest with you. And the locker room is freaking huge. It's freaking huge. Like I don't know how they could expand it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That one's interesting. I mean, you go in the locker room a lot, obviously.
Yeah, I mean it's.
They said that it was tight in there and outdated.
I mean, they have I guess there's probably could be bigger ones. I mean, the one in the stadium is actually bigger than the one at One Buck Place. But my God, it's fine. My God, they're huge lockers. I don't know how much more space you need. Do you need a small studio apartment as your locker? I mean, my God, what more do you need? It's all hardwood in there. It's freaking beautiful. There's TVs and iPads. I mean, it's.
Yeah,
I guess these kids now are coming from Alabama, and those facilities are ridiculous because they have.
You can't compare it to that.
Yeah, because they have to spend the money on that because they can't give it to the
players.
Yeah,
because and realistically, a lot of these categories, there were a lot of teams that got like D's and F's. Like travel, there was a handful of teams. A lot of teams got F's in travel. It doesn't seem like players enjoy.
You're flying chartered. They cater to you. They come by every 5 seconds with ice cream bars and this is back in the day when I flew with them. This is the early aughts, like 2004, 2005. I mean, I was like, it was the greatest thing ever.
I think it's the first class seat thing. I guess none of the players on the Bucs get first class, and they're one of the few teams that don't offer that. And when you're
maybe because that's I guess all the 75-person coaching staff.
I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, who's sitting there? Is it the coaching staff? Was it Brady and Guerrero? I'm assuming that you think they were sitting and coach with the rest of the team.
Yeah.
I can't buy that. Also, Tom Brady having a roommate? I don't think so.
Seems like a lot of first world problems.
It does. It
sounds like a
but
bunch
I
of
understand.
whiny bitches.
Okay, I won't go that far. But I understand it. Like when you're like an offensive lineman, like Donovan Smith or you're Vita Vea, you're a big guy.
Yeah, they need bigger seats.
They need bigger seats.
They really do. Yeah, I get that. I'm surprised that they don't have a more I'm guessing that the Cowboys plane, they own that, and it's all
because the Bucs are chartered.
retrofitted.
Yeah, and that's more of I don't know if that's an outdated thing, but it sounds like a lot of those companies are trying to get out of that business, the chartering business. These big airlines. So I don't know. I know Glazer, I guess, put out a statement saying that they recognize the problems and they're going to do their best and this and that.
I really feel like the Glazers go out of their way to make these guys happy. I mean, for Hurricane Ian, they took their pets.
That's
down
what I'm
there.
saying. Like when it comes to treatment of families, like they didn't have to do that.
Yeah. I guess other teams do it better.
I don't know.
But wow, that seems a little heavy. What do you got planned for the weekend? Anything fun?
I am off tomorrow, so I'm going to be going to play some golf.
Good
for
you.
Our little trip at Copperhead reignited my passion.
You played well, man. You hit the ball really, really well. I'm definitely playing.
Moments.
I'm probably going to play. I'm doing the Grand Prix tomorrow. Going to go down and got a buddy of mine coming into town, so we're going to go hang out at the Grand Prix, into the pits, and look at all the cars, talk to all the people, get my race car thing on. So we'll do that
We'll take
tomorrow.
plenty of video for the socials.
Yes,
we can
I
all
will.
see.
Yep. I'll take you inside pit row. We'll have a little golf on Sunday. So I see some barbecue in my. I think we're going to do like a barbecue restaurant or something on Saturday night with my buddy. He wants to do some downtown barbecue. Go to the yacht.
Yeah.
The yacht basin.
This is my last weekend as a single man in the eyes of the law.
Oh my God, that's right.
This time next Friday, I will be prepping for a wedding. So.
Holy moly.
Ooh.
It's a wonderful ride until it's not. I wish you guys the best, and I hope it's way better than mine, at least the end of it. All right, our thanks to all you folks for watching and listening this week. Thank you guys for chiming in as well. Great stuff. The quarterbacks will be working out and being measured all this weekend, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. We'll be back on Monday with a full report on the Combine and what the Bucs are thinking. So we'll have Scott Reynolds on and the guys from Pewter Report that have been up there all week. So we'll get those to you. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go Bolts, go Rays, go Bucs, and we'll talk to you on Monday.